Dr. Deb has joined us, so I'm going to add her right now, and she should pop up on our screen in a moment. I see that she is being added. So I'm happy to say that instead of it taking 10 minutes like last week to get technology worked out, we are probably going to get it worked out a little bit. Hey, yes, we're going to get it worked
Hello.
out a little bit easier tonight. So that's awesome. Welcome. So glad you're here.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, wonderful. I was just sharing with people that one of the reasons for having this conversation is we often hear about excellent products and services from the people who are selling or offering those products and services. And of course, they want us to know and think and believe that they are excellent products and services because we want them to buy them, use them, engage with them. And so what I was sharing with them is that's all great, but I know for myself, I like to hear from people who have actually utilized it or experienced it, and that was one of the reasons for inviting you on this evening was to get a firsthand um, view or hear about it firsthand from somebody who has experienced it. Um,
Right.
but before we dive into that, what I'm wondering is if you want to take a couple of moments and just share a little bit about yourself and about your work.
Well, thank you. Yes, for those of you who I have not yet met, my name is Dr. Deb Barnett, and I am a feminine radiance facilitator as well as holistic integrative psychologist. And I'm really excited because on November 10th, a month from today, I am hosting a workshop in Black Mountain called Feminine Bliss. And it's a day to come and be pampered and savor the company of other amazing women, including our beautiful Dr. Jenn, who will be there and speaking to us on awakening your intuition. And in addition, we'll be doing some journaling, clarifying what is our purpose, looking at limiting beliefs and clearing those. We'll be doing yoga and dancing, and I'm really excited that at the end of the day, we are going to wrap up with a crystal bowl healing concert. So that should be just fantastic. So it should be a great fun day. And you can get all of the information at drdebbarnett.com. That's DRDEBBARNETT.com.
Wonderful. And of course, all those details, how to get in contact with Deb to know about the workshop, we will post in the comments so that way you don't have to try to remember them or be taking notes while we're doing the live tonight. So Deb, if you want to share with people um, like a little bit about why you decided to do this synergy activation with me.
Well, at the time I reached out to you, goodness, I've been going through a lot of transition and growth, and I've always been someone who has kept goals. And before working with you, you invited me to focus on some of those goals. And so I sat down and I looked at some of my 6 year goals and realized that there are probably some blocks that I had to those limiting me, both conscious and unconscious. And so I was really excited to have the opportunity to work with you so that I could just clear out some of those limitations and come into better alignment with those goals. And so that was my, I would say, my main drive to have a synergy session. And yeah, it was great, and it was just
Wonderful.
powerful too. say, I'm ready, let's do this.
Yes, yes. And that is like often, even for people who have been working with me for a period of time or have um, maybe have worked with me in the past, they're wondering like why would they do this synergy activation if
Mhm.
they either are doing something else or have done something else. And the synergy activation, for those who have not experienced it or don't know what that is, it is a technique that I've developed over years with my own healing, how I've taken care of myself, things that I've learned as a chiropractor, and through my own intuitive awakening and developing that skill and that ability, and then through my experience of working with individuals, and have discovered ways to remove blocks, things that are getting in our way. And what do I mean by that? I know there's a lot of us who take proactive action or steps to take care of ourselves, to resolve issues that maybe we're experiencing or even trauma that we've experienced, and find themselves bumping up against walls, or feeling like, yes, you get progress and then it either plateaus or you get stuck. And what I've discovered with this technique is sometimes the blocks are physical, sometimes they're emotional, mental, spiritual. Sometimes we might be aware of them and don't know what to do with them. And other times we might even have a sense, but a lot of times it's hidden from us. We're not able to see it. And this technique brings all of that to the surface so that way we can clear it, release it, let it go, basically move those challenges and blocks out of the way. So that is like a quick overview of what synergy activation is. Um, and of course, Deb and I, with some of the work we've done together in the past, because we've done some to work together and we've held workshops together and things like that, she heard about my work, which is what led to this. So before I continue, I'm just going to say if you're joining in, this is Dr. Deb Barnett, and she's sharing with us her experience with synergy activation. If you've got questions either for me or for her, feel free to post them in the comments. And at some point, either in the live, we will address them, or if not during the live, we will address them at a later time. But this is your opportunity to, yeah, get those questions answered if you have them. Okay, so Deb, hey Angela, you experienced a 90-minute synergy activation. Um, and you shared that, yes, you had some blocks and some things that you were aware of. What what did you notice during the course of that 90 minutes?
Well, I would say initially there was some excitement, and then I noticed a little bit of fear came up, like, whoa, am I really, I say I'm ready to go let some of this stuff go and I'm ready to move forward, but am I really ready? All of these things just flitter through the mind really quickly. Am I worthy of achieving some of these goals, of attracting them into my life? And so all of this just goes through. And then over the course of the synergy session, there is this feeling that things were just lifting and shifting really quickly, which was exciting to actually feel that on an energetic level, like an opening and easier to breathe. And then to shift actually into excitement from like, I'm not sure, am I ready, to, oh, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm really ready. And this is possible. So, and then, by the end, to just feel so much more empowered and excited to move forward and have this feeling of alignment. So, yes, a rapid journey through many emotions over the course of the 90 minutes, but all
Yes.
wonderful.
So either during the session or in the days, or even now it's been a period of weeks, did you ever feel like overwhelmed, or what was happening was, how do I put it? Like maybe like overwhelming or just too much, or yeah, or anything like that.
For me personally, I didn't. It felt really timely and that I was ready. I was ready for the amount of shifts that would happen for me. And I don't know if that was conscious, at the time, but it was just a feeling, an intuitive knowing that I didn't feel scared or unsafe at any time, like, oh, maybe this will be too much and I just won't be able to handle it. It felt really right. And I think because I trust you so much, that certainly helped. But yeah, so that trust helped me to know nothing will happen during the course of this session that I won't be able to handle. And even if it, did become like uncomfortable, like with a lot of energy moving, that I would get through it easily. So,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I would say that it never became too overwhelming. There was certainly, as I mentioned, some points of little bit of anxiety or unease, self-doubt, but I wouldn't say there was ever any complete overwhelm.
Okay, thank you for that. One of the reasons I
Yeah.
asked that question, and I had told Dr. Deb that I would send her some questions beforehand, and I don't think I did that. I think I dropped the ball on that. And that was a
No, I
question
got
that
them.
just
You
came.
did.
Okay, all right, awesome. I couldn't remember with all the details, but one of the reasons that I asked that question, and I know that one wasn't on the list, is because sometimes people have expressed concern about, is it going to be too much? I think I'm ready, but I'm not really sure I'm ready. And one of the things that I didn't share about synergy activation is the information that gets addressed, the blocks that get addressed, where they might be, or what um, what trauma, what events, what somebody's experiencing, whether it's physical pain, whether it's, yeah, wondering if they're worthy or they're deserving or if they belong, whatever it might be, and that can be personal, it can be professional. All of that decision making that I do is based on intuition. It's based on connecting to the intuition within myself, the intuition within Dr. Deb or whoever I'm working with. And I would say, and it goes beyond that, to being connected to the universe. So that information is not just from like my logical mind, my thinking mind, or Dr. Deborah's. It comes from the the whole of us. And I often remind people that our thinking mind is only 5% of our brain capacity, or about 5% of our brain capacity. By using our intuition and tapping into, in this case, Dr. Deb's body, her being, the essence of who she is, we're able to tap into what her body knows, even if her mind doesn't. And one of the things, like Dr. Deb just expressed, is that if it comes up to be addressed, whether you are consciously aware of it, people will come back and say, oh, it was perfect. It was perfect timing. It felt right. Yeah. So thank you for confirming that, again, for me, Deb, but also for sharing that with others.
Yeah.
So since that 90 minutes, what what has continued to evolve? What changes or what results have you noticed that, well, that you're happy with, that you're like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, if you could share
The
that.
biggest thing I've noticed is that um, my capacity to focus, I think, has been enhanced, and to just like the idea. comes or the inspiration, and I just go for it, you know? So as a result, what's happening is that my productivity has increased tremendously. Like between our session and today, you know, submitted a book proposal and, and did all of these things and made new business cards and, just like things that before would have seemed like, oh my gosh, that's a huge project and it's going to take so long. It's like, boom, done, just moving through things with much more rapidly and with more ease and grace and less stress so that it's more fun. I'm more in the flow. So that's just been wonderful because then, of course, my whole experience of my life and everything around that has shifted too. And that's the other thing, and I've shared this with you that my tendency has been to sort of let fun go and slide to the back burner, when I get overwhelmed. And I've done all of these things and been really productive and in this state of flow. And I've been doing fun things as well. So just greater balance has come into my life. So that's been fantastic.
It does sound fantastic, and I know you've been sharing all of the fun things that you've been doing with all of the accomplishments. And you mentioned ease, and I want to touch on that a little bit more because I think sometimes people often think that to to take care of ourselves, to do healing work, especially when we're looking beyond maybe physical healing, when we're looking at like worthiness and our emotions and our beliefs and how that ties into how we live our life, that can seem like really scary. Um, have you, so my question is, have you tried in the past to be more productive, to have fun in your life, to have ease in your life? Is that something that you had like consciously tried to do?
I would say yes, but usually it's one or the other. Like if I was trying to be more productive, then I'd focus on being more productive. You know, many years ago, when I would tell myself, be more productive, then I would go into what I call more of my masculine energy, where that means like push harder, try harder, effort more, try to do better, try to do more, all of that, which then exhausts me and depletes me and um, leaves me feeling, well, that was no fun. What's the worth? Why is it worth all of that effort just to accomplish something if I'm going to feel horrible afterwards? In the past, I would have done that, but let the fun drop out, as I said, or go the opposite route where, like, I remember there was a period of my life, many years, I would say, let's see, 8 years ago, where I was like, okay, my self-care practice is I'm going to take a bath every night, which just seemed so luxurious. But, that took a lot of dedication and concentration and I wouldn't say that period does not stand out as one of my most productive. So to be able to have, the best of both worlds, be in this state of productivity and action and in what I'd call my healthy masculine state, and to be nurturing myself and to be having fun and be in this state of feminine flow, that's just been fantastic. Really beautiful.
Wonderful. Well, and to hear that you're doing that with ease versus doing it with effort, where
Right.
you had to, yeah, make a point. And one of the reasons I'm highlighting that, and you might have experience with your patients and clients that you work with, when we're doing it from a place of effort, at some point that motivation, that dedication typically falls off
Hmm.
because yeah, you have to keep on yourself to keep moving forward. Where what I'm hearing from you is that you knew that these were things that you wanted to be experiencing, how you wanted to be moving in your business and in your life. And those things are happening without having to put that level of effort in, or that level, like keeping yourself motivated and going like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this and keep doing this and keep doing this, that
Mhm.
it's happening more naturally and organically.
Absolutely.
Would that
Yeah.
be?
Yeah. So it's like less trying and pushing and more like, oh, this is nice. It's just unfolding without
Okay.
extra concentration and effort to make all of these things unfold. Vastly
Oh, that
different.
is, yeah, that's a very beautiful way to put it too. So I have started asking this question to people that I'm talking to, much like yourself. Do you, and it may seem like a strange question to some people, but do you feel that you love yourself more as a result of the synergy activation session?
I think so. And I think, that's always an interesting concept, like what exactly is self-love? But for me, how it's showing up at this time in my life is a gentleness with myself, an appreciation of myself, and listening to myself more, being more attentive to myself and my needs and where I am at any moment throughout my day. Like do I need water? Do I need rest? How's even down to like how's my temperature, in terms of is it too warm in here? Do I need to put on a sweater or take off a sweater? So that sort of attending to myself from a very loving, self-accepting place without the negative self-talk or judgment has been lovely. So I would say yes, I do feel that I am loving myself more.
Thank you. Um, I know sometimes when I ask people that, they're like, huh? Because they don't often think of self-care or putting their needs first as loving.
Mhm.
And that, yes, we might talk about loving other people, but we don't often, um, well, at least historically, certainly growing up for a lot of us, didn't hear how important it was to love ourselves. We heard how
Right.
important it was to love others, but not ourselves. Um, so one of the things that I think has been really, well, synergy activation technique, all the healing services that I've provided to others comes from a place of me deciding, I guess, oh, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago, that self-care was a priority for me. Loving myself was a priority for me. That for me to be at my best as a healing professional, it was really important to take care of myself. So, my next question is, do you think it's important that somebody like yourself um, take care of yourself? And how has this work helped you to do that?
Well, to answer the first part, yes, I think it's essential that I take care of myself. Um, I think it's essential that all of us take care of ourselves because if we are not doing so, then how are we going to help others? How are we even going to get through our day successfully with, the way that life is so busy and so full these days? But especially if there's any desire to take care for others, and whether that be children or a spouse or a partner or friends, or if you are a practitioner of some sort, your clients or your patients. So I think that self-care is essential. It's not something that can be negotiated. So that's why it's so important for me. And um, in terms of, some of the topics and the goals that I wanted to work on when I came to you and to clear any blocks and resistance to those, it's like, okay, this is going to open me up to a really big life. So, I need to start caring for myself now if I want to be up to speed when these things start to really show up and manifest. So, brush up, get my skills and honed up now on the self-care part so that, not only so that I'll be up to speed when those big things manifest, but that it too, the self-care will just be another part of my life and daily experience.
Well, I often, I've seen people that they go on vacation and then certainly with Facebook and other means, then they'll share how they were in pain or they couldn't do everything they wanted to do, or they get to the point that they're retiring or some of the goals they wanted to achieve that they finally have achieved, but then they feel miserable,
Right.
or can't experience the full quality of it because their level of self-care, and I, at this point, to me, self-care equals self-love,
Hmm.
was, yeah, wasn't at the level that their body was really asking for, leading up to that point. So, yes, the fact that you're realizing that you have these really awesome goals that you want to be living and experiencing, and that it requires a level of responsibility on your part to be able to fully experience it and enjoy it. I think that's amazing. Um,
Yeah.
and I just want to take a moment, because I know some other people have joined. If and up to this point that you're still watching, if anybody has questions, again, either for Dr. Deb or myself about anything that we've discussed, or something that you want to know more about, or something more specific to you or somebody you know, feel free to post that in the comments, either now as it is live or if you're watching it at some point later, and we will get back to you and we'll respond to you at that. And yes, so feel free to do that. Um, all right. So Deb, and I know I keep saying Deb, Dr. Deb, because of course we talk to each other
I
pretty regularly.
understand.
But is there anything else that I have not asked you about that you think others may want to know?
Um, well, I was just thinking earlier today, like, what would I say to somebody who is considering having a synergy session with you? Like, and what I would say is, uh, this is such an amazing opportunity to move through a lot in a really short period of time. And what an incredible gift to give yourself by having a synergy activation session. And finally, why would you not do this? Like, why would you not support yourself in this way? In, getting the clarity, having your energy lined up, being clear on all levels so that you can have the life you really want to be living and experience all of that self-love and self-care with ease. It's I can't imagine why anyone would not want to do that for themselves. It's such an incredible opportunity, and Dr. Jenn is just so focused and clear in the sessions, and so you just move through stuff so quickly. It's like boom, 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 and I could feel that during the session, like, oh, okay, yeah. It's just, it happens really quickly. There's the question, you get the response, the intuitive answer, you do the clearing, and boom, good, that's clear. Okay, moving right along, so we can spend so much time doing so many things in our lives, hoping to one day achieve some result. And why not, whatever those results are that you want, why not give yourself the gift of making those things happen and manifest and come to you with as much ease as possible. It's like there's no debate in my mind about whether or not to pursue this.
Well, thank you for that. I know one of the last questions I was going to ask you is, would you do another session? Because to me, sometimes people say, "Oh yeah, like, that was great," and or yeah, like that, I'm glad I did it. And to me, a clarifying question is, would you do it again? And at that point, people may go, "Oh yeah, no." Like I'm glad I did it, but no, I wouldn't do it again. So can I safely assume that you would do this, that at some point you do plan on doing this again because you found it so valuable?
Oh, absolutely, yes. And I even like know in my mind the time frame in which I want to do it. Like I'm getting ready to go to a conference next week to facilitate and move forward on completing my book that I sent um, the book proposal in for, and I know that that's going to bring up a lot, and it's great. It's great. It's going to help me in my creativity and in getting that book done. But I know that it will also bring up perhaps some limiting beliefs in me,
Mm.
and so I already have in my time frame, like, you know, November. It's going to be time for another synergy activation session with Dr. Jen. But that's
Oh,
exciting, you know? It's
yeah.
like it's um and maybe I'm just a personal growth junkie, and so, I just like gravitate towards growth. But yes, I look forward to my next session.
Oh, wonderful. When I was hearing you say, why would you not give this gift to yourself? In my mind, especially since I see this and I experience this with so many people on a daily basis, on a regular basis, that part of like the message that I want to get out to people is, yes, you want this because if you knew what I know, like you would never pass this up because so much can shift and change, be released and addressed and aligned with ease. And I think
Yes.
that that's the thing that stands out for me. We, I know a lot of us have been taught, trained, shown, educated, experienced that for something to be really valuable or to be, um, yeah, to earn that like worth, it's got to be hard, or it's got to be
Mhm.
a struggle, or it's got to be like prolonged. And one of the things I love about this is that's not the case. That there can be ease in the process. Now, that's not to say that everything is always rainbows and unicorns through the healing process, but compared to either past experiences or other experiences that many of us have had, the ease or the decrease in effort, I will say too, that is required is so much less, which to me, and let me know if you agree with this, I just had this thought that because it doesn't require that energy and that motivation of like, okay, I've got to do this and I've got to keep myself motivated, that energy is then available for the healing, that
Yes.
it's not, yeah, it's not going to different areas. It can literally be more focused on the healing itself.
Yes, focused on the healing itself and available to move forward with whatever you want to manifest. So it's almost like you spend less time being stuck in the muck and the mire and the struggle of the growth, and in being able to move through it more rapidly, you have that energy available to enjoy, what life looks like after the session. So it's very exciting.
Thank you. It is very exciting. And it's been, yeah, wonderful to have these conversations, certainly with you tonight. because yes, we've touched base a little bit on it, but I haven't heard even the depth of your experience. Part of me, you talked about your synergy section, a little anxiety came up, and I realized, like, as we were getting ready for this, I was like, ooh, I don't know all her answers to this. So found myself going, huh. I'm like, no, I'm just going to trust because I know that it's going to be perfect all the way around. And it couldn't have been more perfect if I literally choreographed it myself. Yeah, I couldn't, it was perfect. So thank you so much for taking the time to share this with me, to share it with others. And again, if anybody has questions, comments, feel free to share them, ask them, express them, either now or if you watch it at a later time, and we'll get back to you. Um, and I just want to highlight again, I mean, Dr. Deb mentioned at the start of our live that she is hosting a workshop November 3rd in Black Mountain
November
and
10th.
November 10th. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
That's
glad.
okay.
November 10th in Black Mountain. I don't know where I got November 3rd. November 10th in Black Mountain. And that's why we're going to post the details below the video too. So that way you've got all the details right there in front of you, no questions. And yes, so she's hosting that. And at some point during the course of that day, I will also be there to talk about awakening and developing your intuitive ability. So that way you can make decisions, you can make choices with really confidence and clarity and yeah, with less debate, make it much easier. Oh, Angela's saying she's going to mark it on her calendar. Um,
Yay, Angela.
wonderful.
That'll be
Yeah,
fun.
wonderful. And yeah, so we'll post those details um, below. And yeah, we hope you come out and absolutely join us on that day. Okay, yep, she says she's doing that. So wonderful. So be sure to post those details. Um, Anything else, Dr. Deb, before we wrap up? I'm going to share a couple of other things with people here in a moment, but is there anything else that I missed or that you want to reiterate or share?
I just want to highlight that I know many of you probably know Dr. Jenn and have worked with her, but maybe this is a new way of working with her. And I have worked with many healers in my lifetime and was just so impressed with your ability, Dr. Jenn, and just laser sharp clarity of intuitively getting what needs to happen and being able to clear that yes, again, I just want to tell everyone, please give yourself the gift of a session with Dr. Jenn. It's powerful.
Well, thank you again for that. I know I am looking forward to this workshop as well. It was wonderful having the experience of the last one that I joined you, and I'm certainly looking forward to this one as well. And then hearing more of the details as you shared them earlier too. Um, yeah, it sounds amazing. So I'm looking
Uh,
forward to that. So thank you again so much
thank
for
you.
joining us tonight, and I will post your contact information as far as your website and Facebook page, so that way people can get in contact with you both for the workshop but also for your other work as well. So
Great.
thank
Thank
you
you.
again, and
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you for a great time. Take
thank
care.
you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Okay, and then I'm just going to share. Now you know about the workshop, which yes, it sounds fabulous. I mean, talk about bliss. And then, and I also want to share, and I will post. Hey Tina, it was good to see you join us. Um, I also wanted to share with you all that if you're interested in experiencing a synergy activation session that Dr. Deb described tonight, there are a number of ways to, well, to work with me. You can schedule a complimentary discovery call. That's a 30-minute call with me. So that's an option. I'll also post a link to some group synergy sessions. So if you're thinking like maybe you want to do this, but you're not quite sure if you really want to do this or if you've got questions, and you can also bring friends, family members, I will post the link to those events that are happening later in October. Now, there are a couple of events for people who are local here in Asheville. There is one where you can come in person to the office, and then there's also a option for people who live in other parts of the country and who live in other states to engage in a group synergy activation remotely. I do work with people right now in other states throughout the country, providing the synergy activation, intuitive psychic healing sessions. So if you're thinking like, oh, I would love that, but I don't live in Asheville, you're in luck. So I will post all of those details below. All right. It has been wonderful having the conversation. I'm so glad Dr. Deb was able to join us tonight. And next week, let's see. Next week, we are going to have our live conversation. And next week is going to be a live synergy activation session um, happening here online, happening live. And that's going to be on Monday next week because my guest next week, Lisa Linder of Lisa Linder Designs, is going to experience synergy activation um, in a way that you can observe, that you can be part of that experience and see it more firsthand. So that's going to be Monday evening. I that those details will be below as well. Um, so it'll be next Monday night. So again, thank you all for joining tonight. Again, if you have questions, you have comments, feel free to post them below. Dr. Deb and I will respond when we see them, and we look forward to connecting in the future. I'm sending love, health, and transformation to you until we connect again. I love you all. Good night.